Nightwing number 14, written by Tom DeFalco, art by Andre Guinaldo. Last issue we had Nightwing realizing Lady Shiva was in town and seeing Shiva kill some random business dude who was hanging around Sonia Tuco? No, her last name's something else. But regardless, this issue picks up with Nightwing. He's like, okay, so Joker's in the city. Just want to make that clear. But also Shiva is. And I am currently fighting against a gang called the Tiger Claws because they ended up committing some other major high-profile crime that I thought was maybe Shiva, but now that I see it's them, I'm just beating them all up. So the only other crime that happened in Gotham that night was this little business guy, and I need to find out what his tie to all this is. So he calls up Lucius Fox and was like, hey, can you look up a guy named Wesley C. Bicolosi? And Lucius is like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll see what I can figure out. And so at that point, he's like, all right, Tiger Claw's taken care of. We'll see what Lucius gets. I need to go take care of the amusement park that I'm currently building. So Nightwing goes to Amusement Mile and he talks to the one guy there, Jimmy. And Jimmy's like, you know, Dick, I thought you were kind of a flake. I thought that you wouldn't show up to these things, but you have been here for every meeting that we've scheduled and you've really been on top of things. So I'm in. And also there were a couple other acts who got like good offers from different circuses, but I managed to convince them to come in with you. So we got a few acts going on. And he's like, thank you so much. That's super awesome. And then the little girl who was part of the trapeze family that was introduced recently is like, hey, Mr. Grayson, is this place safe? Because I heard that, it burned down a few months ago. And then that last trapeze artist is in jail. And it's like, yeah, those things all happened, but this place is safe, I promise you. And she's like, yay, I knew I could trust you. Meaning that this place is absolutely not safe. There's no way at all. So Nightwing finally manages to get home. He straps up his broken ribs that he has, which I guess he got in like issue 12 or something. And gets a call from Sonia Branch. That's her name. And it's like, hey, sorry I had to reschedule our meeting last night. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's make it up tonight. And he thinks it's a date, but then she's like, go ahead and call my assistant. She'll set something up. It's like, okay, well, I don't even know what's going on anymore. She's busy with something with the SEC. So the Stock Exchange Commission. And at that point, Nightwing gets a call back from Lucius saying like, hey, your dude, he worked in the banking industry. He found a huge loophole in the stock exchange that would allow for like international stuff. And that's probably why he was killed. And it's like, oh, cool. Great. Thanks. So he's like, all right, Sonya's working with the SEC. That guy was working with the SEC. I need to protect Sonya. She's probably a major player here. So Nightwing's bouncing around town, and then he's just thinking like, man, isn't it weird the Joker showed up at the same time as Lady Shiva? So at that point, Shiva attacks him just on a random rooftop and just like, Shiva, it's been too long. And she's like, yes, I remember when you were a Robin. You've gotten slightly better, but you still are no match for me. And they fight and they just keep on talking constantly of like, you could be so much more, Nightwing, if you just joined my side. And he's like, I don't want to join your side because you're bad. And she's like, yeah. Anyway, fight continues on, and throughout the end of it, we see Nightwing looking over the building's edge and seeing Sonya walk by, and she's like, Sonya, I have to protect her. And she was like, how did you know who my target was? Oh, well, doesn't matter. And so she starts to throw one of her, like, throwing knives. Nightwing tackles her at the last second, causes it to miss. And Sonya's, like, security scrambles. And they're like, Sonya, Miss Branch, inside or out? We need to lock down the area. And Branch is like, in. I'm not backing down for nothing. And Nightwing's like, that's my girl. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. And now I have the motivation I need to beat Shiva. And so he like lands 2 punches, and then Shiva figures out about his ribs being broken, so she just kicks him in the solar plex. And just like, yeah, okay, you're down. I'm going to go now. Bye. And as she's leaving, he's like, wait, hold on. You failed your mission. You didn't kill her. Why are you leaving? And she's like, who told you that was my mission? Are you sure I failed? And they make a little remark in here about how Shiva like is just as old as Nightwing here, but was also just as old as Nightwing when they last met. So how can she be like maintaining this youth or whatever? And she's like, oh, there's a reason I wear a mask. So maybe that'll get revealed. I don't know. But then he asks as she's leaving one more time, like, wait, did the Joker hire you? And she just leaves laughing in a cloud of smoke. So then we go over to the Iceberg Casino where Penguin is like, ah, yes. He's watching all the attacks on the SEC building. And it's like, yes, you see, this was all my plan. I hired Shiva to purposely, like, even though she missed that person, the attack was enough to put the SEC scrambling long enough for me to move all of my assets into more easily transferable ways once they closed this loophole. All I needed was time. I didn't care whether or not they succeeded. And his number two, Ogilvy, is like, oh, you're so brilliant. You're amazing. You're a genius. By the way, how do you plan on dealing with the Joker? And Penguin's like, but what? And then we go to Blackgate Prison where Raya is, the trapeze artist who was put into jail like 2 arcs ago. And Joker shows up saying, hey, would you like to hear a joke? And that's the end of that. It's okay. It's not great. I mean, it's a decent enough issue, but like I can't overstate how 4 to 5 pages of it was quite literally just them talking about the morality of what they do, where she was like, mine is the oldest profession. It's like, okay, yeah, I guess it's like very noble cause, whatever. It felt like padding more so than anything else. Like, and the action was okay throughout it, but it wasn't anything that was like, no, this feels like the most dangerous assassin. It's like, no, she's just fighting in the daytime using a weird ponytail blade whip thing. It's not that incredible. So a little bit lackluster, but overall, it's a fine enough issue. I'd give it a 6.5. It's okay. It's not great, as I've been saying, but hey, next up we get Death of the Family, so more Joker stuff. Yay!